times have changed. You know what I mean? The wrestling world has changed now. It's not the same as when, like, the Attitude Era. I wish we could go back to the Attitude Era. That was great, but it's coming because I've been watching the shows recently, and this Bloodline and stuff, that's been one of the greatest storylines I've had a chance to watch.
Wait just a minute. This isn't the Time Machine podcast with WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long and Mac Davis. Well, I am not Bill Apter. This, in fact, is the Sportskeeda Wrestling Awards, where both men that you see on your screen are our eminent judges. Remember, guys, you can vote on the link given below and ensure that your picks coincide with that of the two gentlemen that you see on your screen. Now it's time to step into the time machine, invite Mr. Mac Davis, who is the man who handles the time machine, who takes us back in time. So, Mr. Davis, can you take us back to the start of the year 2022?
I will. I'm going to hit the button, and here we go. You're good to go.
We are good to go. Welcome to the Sportskeeda Wrestling Awards. What happens here is that Mr. Mac Davis, Mr. Teddy Long, they will pick their favorites, and you get to choose your favorites as well. Let's dive straight into the first category, which is who was the promo of the year 2022? Mr. Long.
I would have to, well, it's really a big toss up there, you know, but I'd have to go with MJF and probably Sami Zayn. And the reason why with MJF, he's a guy that makes you believe. And that's how you sell tickets. That's how you draw money. You make people believe. And MJF, you know, he's great on the mic, you know, and that's it. So to me, he would have to be the guy, along with Sami Zayn. Sami's just breaking in, but he's moving real fast. But MJF, you know, I'd really have to say would be the guy for me.
For me, to be honest with you, I kind of agree that MJF is really the promo of the year, but I can't forget Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman has made SmackDown and the entire thing with Roman Reigns, the entire storyline of the family. He really has kind of put all that together for me. So Paul Heyman would be my choice this time around.
A lot of people, even Mr. Dan Lambert of UFC fame, who appeared on our platform, he made comparisons between MJF and Roddy Piper. Would you say that MJF is the second coming of Roddy Piper, both of you? Maybe Mr. Davis can start this time.
You know, I think that MJF has several personalities that he brings out, which makes it all his own in reality. MJF has an incredible ability to pull in people like Roddy Piper, the Nature Boy Ric Flair into his promos. You feel him when he speaks. But MJF is at his best when he's being MJF. And MJF can create heat and natural heat that people just hate him. That's hard to do. So MJF, really, that's the guy right there.
Yeah, well, I'd have to certainly go along with Mac, you know what I mean? Like I said. And then we got also, you know, we can't count CM Punk out, you know what I mean? He's another good one, you know what I mean? But CM Punk is more, you know, to telling the truth, you know, the real. And, you know, like I said, some of MJF promos may be written, I don't know, you know, but it seems to me a lot of that, he's just coming right off the top of his head. And that's really good because that lets me know exactly how you feel. So I'd have to be right along with Mac, MJF.
So, Mr. Long, having been around the greatest in the business, who would you say is the best stick man of all time?
Teddy Long.
There you go.
hey, look, you can't complain about that either because Teddy really he championed the SmackDown brand for years on that microphone. That was what he did. He was just using that microphone. It has so much magic and so much power in that little stick, and Teddy can pull it off just as well as anybody else I've ever seen.
It is impossible to dispute that. So let us go into the next category. The next category is the female wrestler of the year. Who would you say, Mr. Long?
Well, it'd be a toss-up for me, you know, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. You know what I mean? Those are the two right there. And the reason with Jade, I had the opportunity to work with her, you know, before she went to AEW and, you know, became this big star. And what a beautiful woman, just great attitude and everything. And that's when I knew then that she was going to make it, because she listens and she's hungry and she wanted it real bad. I could tell that when we had her in face to face, doing part of her training. So Jade and Bianca Blair, man, it's a toss up there. That's one we say back in the day is just too close to call.
Yeah, Jade is, I had the opportunity to meet Jade with Teddy at Face to Face several years ago, and an incredible woman, incredible talent. She's come a long way. But for me, the female wrestler of the year, Bianca Belair. She's also an incredible talent in the ring, and she has come a long way in the last year, and she is a very good champion for the WWE.
Amazing. A follow-up to that, Mr. Long, you were around Chyna, and a lot of people have compared Jade to Chyna in her prime. Do you see the comparison?
No, I don't. I don't see that at all. I think Chyna was her own person and Jade is her own person. They're two different people. They're two different styles. And when Chyna was alive, with two different styles in the ring. So, no, I don't think there's no comparison at all.
No, I agree. I don't see the comparison between the two. Both very strong women. Chyna was incredibly talented and also a very sweet lady. Jade's the same way, but they're two different types of animals.
Fantastic. Let's move to the final category for this part of the awards. This is the big one. Who is the male wrestler of the year 2022? Is it still Roman Reigns?
I'd have to go with Sami Zayn. He's the guy, man. He's certainly, he, like you say, he's moving fast and he's doing a great job. His promos are on the money. His wrestling ability, his selling in the ring, everything is just coming right together for Sami Zayn. So I'd have to say Sami Zayn.
For me, in the last year, Roman Reigns has dominated professional wrestling when it comes to storylines. So for me, the male wrestler of the year, again, Roman Reigns.
All right. So you have heard everything that these gentlemen have to say. I have a final follow-up question before we end this part of the awards. My question, Mr. Long, you were around Vince McMahon for such a long time, and there is a saying that he likes one kind of body type, right? Like he likes people who look like maybe a Brock Lesnar or a Bobby Lashley, as compared to a Sami Zayn. Do you think that is changing with Triple H in charge of the company?
Well, I think it's changing because times have changed. You know what I mean? The wrestling world has changed now. It's not the same as when, like, the Attitude Era. I wish we could go back to the Attitude Era. That was great, but it's coming because I've been watching the shows recently, and this Bloodline and stuff, that's been one of the greatest storylines I've had a chance to watch. And like I said, it's no comparison now. It's all totally different.
Yeah, it's funny because, in the early days, the guys, and a lot of fans don't realize this, but in the early days that I watched wrestling, the early NWA and during those times, the guys weren't muscled up, huge freaks. They were average men who looked like they could kick your ass. The people like, I'm thinking you got Ric Flair, you had Tully Blanchard, Harley Race never had the best body in the world. But if you didn't think Harley Race would beat your ass if you looked at him sideways, you were crazy. Those people were believable. So it doesn't have to be muscled up, just genetic freaks in there. They can be average men that have that look of, I will hurt you and I will hurt you bad. And I believe that in some of these guys. It doesn't matter what their size looks like to me.
Yeah, well, and like you were saying at the beginning, you're talking about Vince, like in different style and the guys, Yeah, he was high on big guys, the Kevin Nash style and like that, He didn't really care about the small guys. But Vince realized this. The small guys can draw me money. So whether he liked you or not, if you could draw money, then Vince was going to use you. So that's how that works.
Yeah.
So you heard what Mr. Mac Davis had to say, what WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long had to say. Just click on the link right below, and you too can choose all your favorites for the year 2022. Go to the link below. We had 1 million votes last year. Let's outdo that number. Let's go to the next level. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Davis, Mr. Long.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me. And let me give a big shout out to everybody over there in India. Holla, holla, holla.